What's up, y'all? Jamalella Queen Asia here, and I have a special guest. Tell them your name.
Peace. I'm Anthony Lewis Jr.
Yes, so I have Anthony here today for a very important but interesting topic, and it's on religion. So we normally, as African Americans, black people in general, are so into not only Christianity but Muslim teachings. And I love Anthony's perspective on how he feels about religion, and just speak more on that. Like, what? First of all, are you a follower of any religion?
Nope, not at all.
What's your definition of religion?
To me, religion is something organized. It's not.
Okay.
It's not anything free at all. It's just something that had like rules, and I consider myself a free spirit.
Okay. So do you believe in anything?
Just spirituality.
Spirituality.
Everything
Yeah.
is just natural, pretty much. It's just I go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like my example would be something like how Earth is pretty much right now. We have buildings, we have processed foods.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in any of that stuff. Like we can't even we can't even walk on natural ground. We pretty much like I don't know. Like everything feels so weird.
Okay.
Everything is just so different.
Yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that, because it's like processed foods for one. I think that a lot of things that are introduced to us from small and embedded in us isn't really what it is, like. But religion is so weird, because it's like I feel myself sometimes not believing in what I was brought up to believe. But I feel so horrible. Like, I feel so terrible. Like, I feel like God is going to strike me down.
I get it. And it's funny because when it first started, when it first got introduced to me, it's funny because I try to ask people the same question. Actually, I don't try. I ask them the same question.
Mm-hmm. Which is what?
Where did you get your religion?
Yeah.
Where did you get your faith?
Yeah.
And no one likes to answer the 20. Nobody likes to be truthful and tell the truth, which is, listen, I was forced into it as a kid.
Wow.
I was brought to a church as a kid, and it's true for my story.
No,
I was brought to a church as a kid. We don't know anything, so of course you're going to go anyways.
Right.
And then what brings us in the church and anywhere else regarding religion is fear of going to hell. There's no, you're able to do things freely. And if you do, there's a consequence. It doesn't make any sense to me. But this is just religion to me. Like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like any of it at all, because it's rules, and it's different rules for what to follow with God. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of it does not make any sense.
So when did you start feeling that, like, listen, this is not what it is? Like, what age, what happened, like?
My journey was kind of interesting. Like,
Okay.
growing up for so many years, religion has been on my back for a very long time. So it's like, that's all I knew. So every time I walk around, it's God's watching me, and all these set of rules that was given to me in the church and at home. But I can tell people are not they don't study much of what they believe. They just go with the flow. They hear things and they just go with whatever. But the journey started when I moved upstate, in Albany, New York, to be exact. And I don't know, I met this brother born and raised in Brooklyn who lived out there, and he didn't force me to get out of religion, but he was so smooth with his words. He said, listen, the black man is God.
Right.
And I didn't understand it at first. So I'm like,
Right.
of course God is, black, Jesus Christ and all this stuff. But I started learning, like, the more he spoke to me, the more he was just more like, he was influential, but he was calm. Like, in religion, they force things. Like, listen, if you don't believe this, God's gonna strike you, and you're gonna go to hell, and you're not coming back. And,
Right. Yeah.
So, but with him, it's like, listen, don't believe the hype. Do your research. This is how the black man is God. We watch certain films, and he'll break down certain things. Like, listen, this is why these things are occurring in this world. I started going through life experiences, and I started seeing certain things that made more sense. And it made me question who God was, or even his character, Jesus the Christ.
Wow, we're going to touch on that. I want to touch.
Yeah.
I really want to touch on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
we will.
So after that, you went and you did your own research. Where did you start? Especially for the folks that's like feeling just like you. I want you to tell them, how did you start and where did you go? This is a really good one, because for some reason I was searching the web. I was searching like, all right, who's God?
all these other things. Like I want to know, like the black man is God. That's the first thing I'm gonna search for. So I started coming across videos. What sparked my brain was his brother by the name of Young Pharaoh.
Okay.
You can follow him. You can see him. You know, most likely a lot of people know him. He's controversial to some people, but other people understand him. So his brother by the name of Young Pharaoh and Dr. Sebi, and also Pharaoh's teacher, General Seti. People that goes like pretty much, they come to Harlem, 125th. I'm not sure exactly where, but they talk on like Sinetta TV.
Okay.
So I started watching more of that, and I started learning more on those channels, and I started doing my own research, and I started pretty much using my what do you say, my critical thinking.
Okay.
Instead of me just pretty much going with what people are telling me, I put things together pretty much. You know, like when Tupac says something about sparking people's brains, that's exactly what I want to do. I don't want to lead you somewhere and, you know, take you out. I don't want to force nobody out of your religion.
Right.
But I want to spark your brain so everything makes sense to you. Like, why would God strike you down if this is your father and he loves you so much?
Right.
If I make one mistake, I'm going to get condemned to hell.
Right.
So I have to ask people, like, I have parents. So if I don't do one thing, my parents are going to condemn me to hell.
Right.
It makes no sense. What parents love you, they're still going to condemn you to hell.
Right.
Makes no
And for the most part, I think I always stuck with some of my teachings because I felt like a lot of the Christian teachings, you know, really. See, I'm the type of person that if your teaching is to do good, then I guess, like, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So when they have the story of Jesus and you learn things about him, what about those make you question Jesus, the Bible, God, everything?
This stuff is meant to control and manipulate my people. I'm going to say my people because this is my people. Black people is my people, period. So, and we're the first people on this planet. So we're gonna get to that topic.
Right.
But the thing about it is that, like, they use it to control us. You know, everyone knows this, but are afraid to speak on it because of that idea of going straight to hell when I die. You know, have you ever asked yourself, are you in hell right now? Like, what's going on? What happens? You know? Why is it that, like, what made me really change things was asking questions. I was forbidden to ask questions as a former Christian. Well, as a Christian, I was like forbidden to ask questions. Like, you can't question God.
Right.
So that's where I knew there was a problem. That's why I knew it was a problem.
You always is told don't never question God.
Exactly, and that's why I ask people, like, you sure you believe in what you believe in, or have you done your research? Like, what makes you believe this character? Because Jesus Christ, his name is not Jesus Christ. It's Jesus the Christ. The Christ is a title, not a last name, and it means the anointed one. And I ask people, are you sure you believe in what you believe in? Because you keep calling him Jesus Christ. That is not his name. Jesus is, we can get really into that name, Jesus itself, but we already know it was a whole different name before it was Jesus. And plus, the ship that brought us here was called Jesus. That's how we got the whole title thing. So it's so much things that people don't ask, and that's just a real problem for me. That's why I don't believe in none of this stuff.
Okay. All right, so do you believe, well, you don't believe in it now, but what about people worshiping Jesus was an issue for you?
He was never there to be worshipped in the first place. Like, people have to understand that, and that's what I mean about doing research. Was he like the kind of person that said, listen, you guys should worship me? No. People, especially us, when we get something, black people, we run away with it.
That's a fact.
Like, we're very passionate about everything, especially about this deity. Like, we love him more than we love ourselves. That makes no sense. And I was forbidden to love myself as well. That's why I had questions about this whole religion thing. It was just so many things about loving myself, loving my people, put my people first. I have to put him first, I have to love him first, and all this other craziness.
So what about worshiping in a church, worshiping on Sundays? What about that was just like, that ain't it for you?
Nah. Worship, like the things that we had beforehand, like we would have to ask ourselves the $1 million question. What were we praying to before Jesus Christ? And no one ever asked that question. How long has he been here? Not that long. I don't believe in dinosaurs neither. First of all, somebody had to be there to hear the sound effects. So you're not fooling me with the weird spookism. I'm not falling for those things. So with the whole worship in the church, I don't need to go to a church to feel the power of God. It makes no sense if the temple's built in me. It's not a place to where I have to go to a special place to go worship him. And it's funny because these churches are in every corner. Liquor stores are on every corner. So this is another problem for me. Why is it that there's so many homeless people out here? They can't get inside your church. And then you have a problem if I'm wearing shirt like street attire. But I was told to come as I am. You know, so it's like there's so many different funny things going on with the church. It doesn't make any sense. And plus, they worried about money. And when you ask them where their money going, it's questionable. It's going to a white bank. So this is pretty much just like a strategy to keep people asleep. And
do you think it all stems from slavery?
Absolutely.
What do you think black people were worshiping or were serving or before then? What's your idea?
I would never, I don't have all the answers.
Right,
it's
right,
just pure speculation.
Right.
And it's just more of like an idea, like a theory, you know, because I can't prove it. But it makes sense in a sense that the sun, animals, plants, like things that were here before, you know, not these unnatural things. Like it's I don't know, we don't worship, we worship each other. Like we'll do things for each other, but as far as like, I think the difference with worship before and now is different. The worship before is more fear. I worship him because, you know, he's my God and he's gonna, you know, bring me to heaven. You know, I gotta make sure I don't do all these bad things. But before it's more of like, I care about my black woman, my brother, nature, you know, but everything is backwards. And this all came from a European, in my opinion.
Okay, so you think that Christianity was basically stemmed from European teachings?
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, the gentleman was what's his name? Constantine of the Roman Catholic Church, and his son goes by the name of Caesar Borgia, who is Jesus the Christ, that character. So that's just pretty much how that story started. And then we started worshiping him only through getting beat. We didn't have weapons. We taught them. They left, came back with weapons, and he took our stuff, beat us, and forced us to worship this character. And then, of course, if we're getting, like, say we're the ancestors, we're getting beaten. We have no weapons. So clearly, you know, we're submissive. Right. So we're gonna pretty much force that religion on the youth. The youth are the easiest targets to pretty much manipulate.
Right.
And then it continues from there.
Wow.
Like what they know is their truth. So once our children gets older, they're adults. They were pretty much programmed so long that they believe this actual thing. That if you don't do this, you're gonna go to hell. This is your God and whatever. Whatever you see is pretty much life. And
Yeah,